Hey y'all, it's Healer Auset. I am here with holistic soul healing, holistic community healing, holistic education healing, holistic just come get your mind right healing. I'm gonna see you every single week right here on our network. Not just for the people, we are the people. Hey y'all, hey. It is Dr. Auset, Healer Auset, Mama Auset, whatever you want to call it. And you are on the Healer Auset show where spiritual healing, community healing, love and healing and healing is always going to happen. You are on the AHRRR network, not just for the people, we are the people. I'm so glad to be back. I am so glad to be in season 2. Woo! We made it to season 2. And it's just exciting to be back. I have so much to share, so much journeying to bring, and I'm blessed and honored that you are going to be on this journey with me. So this season is going to be all about executing everything that we did last season. We talked about chakras. We talked about what does it mean to show up, all of the stuff, right? And realizing the truth so that we can really begin to catapult what it means to be our truest, best selves in the highest light that we were designed to be. And I'm excited to do it. We are going to open up this season with the topic of motherhood. And not just any motherhood, Black motherhood, and why it is important to be very distinctive when we're talking about Black motherhood and showing up in a way that's going to always uplift us in who we are. Because let me tell y'all something, we are the original womb. There is not one being on this planet that cannot be tracked back to the Black womb. So all of my Black mothers, if you are watching this, when you are watching this, as you are sharing this, because you should be sharing and following our network, right? So as you are doing that, make sure that you are standing up. Make sure that you are celebrating who you are, because to be a Black woman is to be the first womb, the first mother of all things. So let's talk about what it means to be the first womb of the entire planet. Our DNA as women, our eggs, right? We are holding the eggs from 7 generations back to 7 generations forward. Now just pause. This is every woman, but just pause and think about that. Who you have birthed as a mother is now carrying the next 7 generations and the 7 generations prior to, which means we can feel the connections of our ancestors all the way back to Africa. We can feel the connection of our ancestors that suffered from the kidnapping of the transatlantic slave trade, right? We can feel all of what our mothers have been through, but we can also project the energy. And listen, this isn't Mama Auset's science. This is science. Go research it yourself. I encourage every single time I'm telling you something, go research it yourself. I'm a researcher. I'm not gonna bring you any knowledge that isn't justified, but also get the knowledge yourself. So to know, we can also project. So the wombs, if you have birthed girls, you have birthed the perpetuation of more generational connection. If you have birthed boys, you have now been able to say that their sperm is going to continue this livelihood. And to be the original womb of the planet means that there is a great responsibility that we must uphold. So when I look at folks in different cultures and different whatevers acting crazy, and I recognize that being a Black woman, I actually have the greatest influence on the planet, everything stops. If there is any type of trend, if there is any type of influence, if there is any type of curiosity, it is coming from the Black woman. And so when we have that responsibility, I can no longer look at other folks' ignorance and get off of my throne. You understand? When you are acting as if you are supposed to engage with your children the way your children are operating, then you lose the power of what it means to be a mother. So I can see black, white, yellow, orange, green folks acting however they want to. But me as the original mother, I'm going to sit on my throne and I'm going to put you in your place. Because once we recognize that as black women and as black mothers, all comes from us, and we switch that mindset that we are supposed to be seeking out permission from others, when in fact, we are the ones who should be sitting on our throne, making sure that these folks are being raised. Let me say that again. I hope y'all got y'all's notes out. We should be making sure that we are doing the raising of the world. If you know me, you know that I always say, like, sisterhood will heal the world. And I say that black women will heal the world, because when our sisterhood is connected, when our sisterhood is tight, everyone else follows suit. Don't believe me? Try it. Try it in your own life as a black woman. Try it in your own life. Do something simple as one little small trend in the lotus of influence that you have. And watch that trend not only get picked up, it's going to get duplicated. It's going to be right. It continues to go, because that's what happens when you are a mother. When you are a mother, you are the giver of life. You are the first teacher. You are the first disciplinary. You are the first everything. And when we recognize, black women, that we have this responsibility, the true reflection is each other. You know, I say this all the time in my couples work. Stop saying that your partner is your reflection. That is not true. Your partner is your balance. Sister, I am your reflection. I'm a woman. I have a womb. I can give life through my breast. I can do right. Like all of these things. I am your reflection. Your partner, your man is your balance. And when we get clear about what it means to be the mother of the planet, the mother of the planet, let me say that again. Every single person on every single continent can be traced back to the womb of a black woman. It is us. And so when we can sit and say, sister to sister, now let's heal our sisterhood. Now let's make sure that the sisterhood is there, because you are my reflection. And this is where I'm going to get the continuous reciprocity of my black womanhood, of my black motherhood, right? Honoring our grandmothers, honoring our aunties, honoring each other, honoring the wisdom, uplifting the next group of black women, right? Of black mothers. Just us doing that. Let me explain. Just us doing that for each other will trickle out to all other women. And women in every society, in every cultural group, in every whatever, are the core, are the standard. Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been quoted in saying, when you want to see the state of a society, look to the women. Because we are the key to the connection, right? And so when we get to that place, sisters, black women, where we understand the idea of competing with each other, that's Eurocentric. The idea of being jealous of each other, that's Eurocentric. The idea that we cannot work with one another, that's Eurocentric. That is not who we innately are. Innately, we say, sister, I see you. What do you need? I'm going to figure it out. I just got put on to, there was something went viral a couple weeks ago where this guy was saying that his mother taught him, if he was ever in trouble, to find a black woman. Why? Because we are going to innately figure it out. This is why we tired. This is why we are now in this space of like, we don't want to fix everything. But sisters, I hear you. I'm tired too. I don't want to be the one to figure stuff out too. We always figure it out. We always make a way. I get all of that. And that is what it means to be the original mother of the planet. Because mothers figure it out. So that we have to find the balance of understanding the reason why everyone leans on Black women is because we are their mom. We are their Umi. We are their Iya. That is why we birthed you. So when you recognize that we have to change our thinking, right? There's this, and it's a balance. It's a balance of saying, like, you're not going to take advantage of me. You're not going to take me for granted. You're not going to show up in reciprocity in the way that I tell you that I need, in the way that I show up for what you need, right? I'm not saying to abuse or harm yourself, but I am saying that, sisters, we have to recognize the reason why this is the way that it is because innately, spiritually, energetically, it is known subconsciously in every person on the planet that their root comes from our garden. So of course you're leaning on us. Of course you're asking for us. Of course you're saying, can you show up? Of course it's us who can change anything, right? Because that's what mothers do. And as the original mother of the planet, that is how you have to show up. And then Black mama techniques, right? When I was, well, not even in past tense, in any circumstance where I go into a school or I go into, and any Black woman educator will share this story. This is not unique to me. I can go into a classroom of the so-called problem children, and I don't have to say a word. I just got to give a look. That Black mama look will shut everybody up. I remember I have birthed 3 children, and my daughter, I only have one daughter. My daughter, I would look at her, and she would cry. I didn't have to spank my daughter. I didn't have to do too much of anything because I just had to look at her, and she knew, oh my goodness. What is that? We can't codify that. Now, white education will attempt to try to, but you can't codify the way that I can come in and have full classroom control over a classroom that has been disruptive for the entire school year. I can't codify that. The only thing I could say is that I'm a Black mother. And let me also really clearly say that this does not mean you have birthed, because Black women have these same skills. You may not have birthed your own children, but there are motherly instincts in you, from figuring it out, being the person everybody depends on, doing whatever. All of these are motherly traits. And when we recognize that these techniques are unique to the DNA of who we are, because we are the original mother, everyone is listen, when I hear stories that my ancestors' breast fed children who they did not birth in order, right? When I hear stories that my great-great-grandmother ensured that children who were not hers were instilled with the confidence, with the ability to learn, to all of the, right? This is what we do. And we don't just mother our own. When this is a wonderful, wonderful knowingness an unspokenness of Black motherhood. When we see that you have mothered outside of the children that you birthed, or you've mothered outside of children and you don't have your own children, that's almost a Black mama technique that is just instinctively us, because again, we are the original mothers. VPAC is one of those places for me. I have mothered many, 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 many children who were not mine, who became my godchildren, right? I have mothered children that and become godmothers to children that I didn't meet because I was connected to the family. I was connected, right? This is an indication of what it means right? Winter camp is coming up for VPAC, and winter camp this year is super important. That flyer is, you're going to see it in a second, the winter camp flyer. It's super important because it's been 20 years. 20 years. And I wasn't intentionally thinking that I would be doing this work for 20 years. The reason VPAC has continued to go is because of the mothering of it. The program is great. But when you see a village of women saying, how can we make sure we keep this going for these children? Because we need to make sure they have outlets. We need to make sure they have the opportunities. We need to make sure, right? This is mothering. And it is outside of the Eurocentric standard. And even when, Damo, you can put the winter camp flyer. Even when we have families that go and attempt to see the Eurocentric ideology, they always come back. We done had students go to DSA. We done had students do whatever. We done had students go whatever. They always come back. But you know why? Because it's the mothering. This year is 20 years of us doing this. 20 years. And to make an impact in the Denver metro area and beyond, really, has been all because of commitment to mothering. I can't say anything else. It's not a commitment to dance. It's not even a commitment to education. It's a commitment to mothering. Because all of those things, it's not a commitment to performing arts. It's not a commitment to project-based learning. It's not a commitment to, no, it's a commitment to mothering. Because we can recognize, anyone who's committed can recognize this don't work. So if you have children who love to dance, if you have children who love to perform, we invite you to come and join us for winter solstice this year. But because it's 20 years, we have an amazing story to share. There is a documentary being filmed. All of these things are happening, right? Diego and Jaye, they are products of VPAC. They started as, Jaye's my daughter, so she started in the womb, right? But like he started, and now it is passing of the torch, but it's also 20 years of mothering. And in full transparency, my daughter is developing these mothering things, because in order to serve your community, you have to walk into your mothering. Also, if you want to fully become a part of VPAC outside of winter camp, we do have one-on-one. So tuition is $200 a month. And if you come in and you bring someone else and the one-on-one, then you get that month free. But we want to continue to mother. If we are not being clear that our commitment to community requires a depth of parenting, and that's not always to youth. Let me be very clear. Sometimes it's adults who need parenting. Sometimes it is elders who need parenting. But the parenting is showing up because we are willing to. And the one-on-one, the next flyer to show you is bring one, each one teach one. That's the idea. Each one teach one. Well, that is a very African, a very Black womanness, a very Black mothering that happens. Each one teach one. You come, I come, we're bringing everybody. Because everybody deserves to have access to some level of beautiful mothering. And that mothering, and listen, I'm not white. I'm not Asian. What I am is Black and brown. And I understand that the way that we mother is a little bit different. Culturally, because of the societal boundaries that have been created systemically, right? We do things a little different. And when you bring one and you teach one and each one teach one, we're creating the space and the environment for thriving to happen. It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than ourselves. And there is something in Black mothering that we get that. We get that. This didn't have to be like drawn out. And oh, I said, what you trying to say? That other mothers aren't this? I'm not trying to say nothing. I'm trying to say that my ancestors once nursed, raised, and ensured that everybody else's children was okay. That's what I'm saying. I'm only speaking of the experiences that I can feel in myself. VPAC has become such a mothering place that we've expanded into doing summer camps, right? In our summer camps, we actually are taking our children and giving mothers an opportunity to not be in full mother mode for a month. And then we are bringing our babies into 3 different cities this year. I'm super excited about 2025 because as you can see on the flyer for summer camp, we are going to New York, we are going to Atlanta, and we are coming to Denver to do our show. But what that gives is the opportunity for students to be mothered in the arts, mothered in performance, mothered in travel, mothered in whatever. And again, VPAC, we understand that it takes a village. We are all a village. Nobody calls me, my babies don't call me Dr. Auset. They call me Mama Auset because Mama is the most important role that I have. Mama is the most important title that I have. You can take all that other stuff. I don't even have my stuff. I give my degrees to my mama. Because the most important thing is that my 3 children saying mom and my community children saying Mama Auset. That's my biggest flex. Whether I birthed you or not, and I'm going to say this again, birthing does not mean mothering. You might not have your own biological children, but you are mothering somewhere in your life. I guarantee if you are a Black woman. It's innate. It's in us. You can visit us at www.vpac2020.org. Get your children signed up. Make sure, this is such an amazing opportunity. We've been going just to Atlanta, but this year, 2025, we're going to spend 1 week in New York and do some training at Broadway Center of Dance and Alvin Ailey. Then we are going to go to Atlanta for 2 weeks, and then we'll be in Denver for 2 weeks to actually do the performance that y'all know has been happening for the past 20 years. We are also going to be premiering the original production. So we have an original production written. There's original music. There's, of course, original choreography. And we're just excited. And this is all for mothering. Let me tell y'all, I wrote this script almost 20 years ago for the first group of students. And I'm excited to see it happen. But again, this is mothering. And then all of those students who now bring their students to us, they want to get involved. That's mothering. Each one teach one, bring it back, come back, see that this is how this works. And that happens in the Black community. Always, always, always. And there is a difference. There is, our culture doesn't allow for us to be individualistic. Our culture has set us up. The way that we have nurtured through hip hop, through jazz, through the Harlem Renaissance, through all of these things, we have nurtured a culture of what it means to be Black mothers in community. We have done it in a way where we are always thinking about ourselves, our children, and beyond. And it's almost a form of resistance to not be individualistic. It's a form of resistance to not be driven by the same selfish, egomaniac, Eurocentric ideologies that exist. We have to show up in this way, right? We have to. I just want to quickly let folks know that I have gotten into a new career. And I am loving it. I didn't know I would love it as much as I would, but we're going to take this as a quick little commercial break to pay some bills. But I am now doing mortgages. So if you are in need of your first purchase, if you want to refinance your home, the first step is to get approved. A lot of times people go find their realtor first. when actually you should get approved first. Your community lender, I'm excited to now be able to offer this. I've been closing folks who thought they would never be able to own their own home. And it is so fulfilling. And it's this mothering again that happens, but financial freedom can be felt. The mortgage industry is very, 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 very much riddled with disparities. And how you close those gaps is representation. I'm proud to say that I have been able to represent and show up for families that have been told no, that were denied. Lenders didn't understand their story because of the cultural differences. There have been some real predatory things that have been going on that I've been able to help course correct. And so I'm honored and thankful for your community lender and allowing me to show up and help families in my community build generational wealth, because that is a part of it. So yeah, so let's go into the differences between old school and new school. Old school and new school mothering. So I had this conversation with someone talking about this new movement of soft parenting. And my first response was like, soft parenting is for soft children. We will get caught up in these thoughts, right? And I've heard the argument that whipping your children is from slavery, and like this ideology of being physically harmful to your youth, to the children, and all of these things, and correlating it to slavery. Well, the reality is that physical discipline was not started in the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, let's get clear about that. Let's also get clear that these trends work particularly for particular children. If you are approaching any type of parenting with you being the first person to be thinking about, well, I don't want to do what was done to me. Well, I don't want, you're already starting off wrong, young parents. Your children tell you how to parent them, not you. And in them telling you how they should be parented, you show up accordingly in the space of authority for the moment. Let me say that very clearly. Authority for the moment. You cannot, because see, what happens is if you don't identify that each child is different, like I just shared my story with my daughter. I really didn't have to do anything with, I didn't really never had to get in with my daughter like that, because I could look at her. My boys, on the other hand, if they tried it, if they did whatever, they let me know, oh, this is how I need to show up in parenting for you to ensure you get the skills that you need to be the best person you're supposed to be. Now, I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about go in on your child. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm saying that these movements of this is the parenting method that I'm going to use, it does not give the freedom for your child to show up how they authentically should. Because if I have a child who intellectually is willing to be snappy and do whatever and missing the mark of what respect and boundaries are and all of this stuff because they're smart, right? Because I'm so committed to being a gentle parent, and I need to speak to you harshly to let it be known this is what it means to have respect. Your intellect, right? We have it all confused. Old school parenting also can be too harsh. It shouldn't be out of sight, out of mind. A child only speaks when spoken to. Those things are out of touch too. This new school way often is influenced by some level of Eurocentricity. And what I have, the conversations that I have had, particularly around gentle parenting, I'm not going to raise my voice at my child. I am. And I'm not going to, listen, not doing those things create a mishap in the whole community. Not just your household, not just for that child. Because see, if you are telling your child that it is okay for them to speak to me aggressively, and they come into my presence and they're going to feel this black mama energy, you have now set them up to where opportunities might be taken away from them, right? Like it's a ripple effect. Everything happens in the home first. So this new school, and I'm using gentle parenting. There's also other new methods of parenting that some parts of gentle parenting are correct. When you have a gentle child who's an extremely sensitive soul, they aren't confrontational. They're not going to challenge you. They're not going to do all of the, yes, that child absolutely needs gentle parenting, right? What do you do with gentle parenting when you have the child who has the spirit of a warrior? Are you going to then misdirect that warrior spirit because there was no discipline, there was no boundaries, there was no, right? So now they go into the streets and they are in the streets, right? And so you have to show up in this way that's going to be very clear of who your child is spiritually and energetically. And in my work, the spiritual work that I do, I do ensure that the energy and the spirit is being matched. And that doesn't mean that you don't mess up, right? That doesn't mean that you don't fall short, because sometimes we do. That means that you have to acknowledge in your Black mothering what each child needs. What my oldest son needed is not the same thing of what my youngest son needed. Definitely what my daughter needed. Neither one of them, the boys absolutely didn't need. Right? So there's all of these different, but allowing them to spiritually and energetically show up in who they are. And I met them in the authority of being their parent. And now that I'm empty nesting, the part 2, I can't wait to bring part 2, because I'm going to bring my youngest son on the couch. He's going to be my first guest. But the energy of that is real, right? Because I do, and let me also say, if y'all want spiritual or energy readings, you can get your spiritual energy reading. Let me tell you, I do readings. I'm not psychic. Let me say that. I am not psychic. I'm not psychic. I am not psychic. Spiritual and energy readings are determining where you're at in your space right now. That's what I'm reading in that moment. I'm helping you get realigned with yourself, and then realigned, more importantly, with God, and then making sure that you're hearing the messages as well that you need. It's unlimited time. And then after the reading, I'm on call for you for 2 weeks, because I move energy for you, and changes might happen. So you don't have to come back and get another reading, right? You just come back and we'll do a check-in. Once I read you once, I can read you through text, I can read you through a chat, I can read you through whatever, but it is not psychic, because the power of you doing your work and you making that choice, that is on you. Okay, that's on you. So let's go back to the spirit and energy of our babies, right? And so when we're talking about the spirit and energy of our babies, for example, all of my children came to me before I actually got pregnant with them. And my oldest being the most aggressive of them all, because I was told I couldn't have children. And his spirit and his energy said, nah, I chose you, and watch, we about to come through. And I got other people coming behind me, right? His spirit and energy is very much warrior, very much like this is, and he developed his general analytical mind. Versus my baby, he came out general analytical mind and developed his warrior. So there's 2 very different approaches that had to happen, right? Daughter, the same way. She came out very clear, very firm, very all of these things. And so there's these 3 totally different approaches. But because of the spirit and the energy of who they were, it allowed me to show up and say, okay, this is the type of parenting that you need. My first child versus my last child, very different parenting, all three different methods. All three different methods. And that's the power of being a Black mother. That adaptability, that knowing how to manage, right? It's when they were young, I'm managing 3 different personalities, 3 different disciplines, 3 different whatever, 3 different conversations, that multitasking of making sure that they get what they need. And then when you see the end result, because my children are dope. I'm sure your children, if you are empty nesting, you recognize how dope they are, right? This is the power of making sure that, and creating the space for things to drain out, things to, and this is another modality of healing that I'm able to do that helps understand how we hold the energy of who we are in our bodies. And as we are birthing, we're holding it in our bodies and we're passing it to our youth. We're passing it to who we're birthing. It's in our sperm. It's in our eggs. So how do you drain that out? Well, I'll tell you how. LFD treatments. I do lymphatic drainage and frequency detox. And this helps move those energies up out of you, right? It's also, you can also use this to do some natural body contouring, right? Like I do facials to get your chakras right and do all of the healing and wellnesses. But really LFD, the lymphatic frequency detox, is the frequency, because remember at the top of the show, I explained that we are holding 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. So that 7 generations back, that trauma is still in us. It's still in that sperm. It's still in them eggs. So you have to drain those things out of you so that you can show up and be your biggest self, so that you can show up and say, I'm going to be as clear as possible, right? These systems don't allow us to be 100% clear, but I'm going to be as clear as possible, drain this energy up out of me, get my spirit aligned, and do all of the things that I need to do to show up. And from doing LFD, I encourage people after LFD, then go talk about being in a couple. Because I do couple sessions too. Then go say that I want to show up so that I can become a mother in this cohesive unit. We got all of these ideologies about what it means to parent. There's so many different ways, but there's also parenting in your relationship. And Black women, if we are not saying that we are the original womb, we are the, right? What does that mean we're doing? We're robbing our Black men of recognizing that they are the original fathers. So how are we balancing these things out to make sure that our children are thriving, to make sure that our communities are expanding, make sure that we are working in collaboration and doing this work together? My mother is the journey of motherhood for me. My mother had me when she was 15 years old, and I didn't even understand what that meant because my childhood was so rich. I didn't even understand what that meant until I turned 15. They were like, I turned 15 as selfish and self-centered and all about me that I was. It made me pause and say, wait, you had a baby right now? No way. My mother is absolutely the best mother I have ever experienced. And the way that she continues to mother, right? I think I am now at a place in my life where I can say my mother is my friend. And this was something that I took into my own motherhood. And when Saya comes on, we'll talk about that. But one of the things is I'm not your friend. I'm your mother first. And I think, and I'm 42 years old. Maybe my mother became my friend at 35, 36. Right? Because there was still mothering that was necessary to do. Her commitment to say, I'm going to raise up I'm going to be the generational breaker and continue to support my daughter being the generational breaker, right? So like how that has shown up has been so divine, has been so beautiful. And I can't talk about Black motherhood and not celebrate and talk about my mother. She still to this day figures out a way. She still to this day is holding space to make sure that her two daughters are all right. Right? Like there's still to this day, her mothering doesn't stop, but there is this transition where friendship has been formed, where now I can share with her in a way and she shares with me. But I know it's because she now trusts my womanhood and my own motherhood. And that's the power of Black mothering. It doesn't stop. It definitely transforms as I'm in the last couple of months of my children being up under me in my house. My baby is a senior in high school and about to go off to college. So then I have all my 3 children off in college. And what does that look like? That looks like I went from this hovering mother to now I am a counsel. Right? Now they come to me for counsel. They don't come to me for decision making. I give them, I work through with them. I say whatever, but the decision is now theirs. And I have to trust that I have mothered them well enough to get them to make the decision. And they're going to make mistakes, right? And this is why still I'm not your friend, because I still got to hold space for you. I still got to hold spaces as you are making mistakes and as you are figuring life out. I still have to be able to mother you. And these are the boundaries. And listen, none of my children were gentle children, okay? They all got strong minds, strong personalities, I'm standing firm, stubborn, all of the things. And how do I ensure that they are being shifted and supported to be set up in life? I'm not your friend, I'm your mama. These are all Black mama techniques and the power of being the first womb of the planet. And again, I'm going to repeat, if we are the first mothers, that means that our men were the first fathers. And we have to get back to that. Now, I might have to come back and this is already a part 2 show, but I might have to come back and do a Black mothering and Black fathering show. With a dope father. I know a lot of Black dope fathers with a dope father and have that conversation too, because we don't want to negate that. And then with that said, we're going to close it out. I want to share with y'all, I'm excited to announce that I am doing a retreat. People have been asking me to get back to doing retreats, making sure that I'm doing it. June 22nd through the 26th, 2025. We are doing a full chakra healing retreat. You are going to get your chakras aligned. You're going to get some LFD treatment. You're going to get some spiritual and energy work. We got a chef that is joining us and going to be doing all plant-based meals. You're going to do yoga, mindfulness, and it's going to be 60 days afterwards that you will stay engaged to make sure that you take this retreat and you really apply it into your life. And we are going to do this all in the beautiful Colorado mountains. Y'all, I am so excited for this. This is not going to be everybody can come. I got limited seats because there's going to be a lot of work. I'm excited to share that we have a full yoga person coming, that we have all of the things that are going to be happening. And I can't wait until June, because this retreat, I'm talking about, we're going to do some real healing. If you're not ready to heal, you don't even go to the website. But you can go to the website and find all of this information at www.healerausetmariam.com and register. Go ahead and register until April 15th. Right now, it's $500 off. So get registered. These seats are going to go fast. This is my soft launch of it, but we are going to do a hardcore, I would love to get the registration of folks as soon as possible, because I can do some work with you before the retreat. But this retreat is going to be so dope. This is open for men. This is open for women. This is open if you are a couple and it's, you know, you need some work together, right? Like all of the things. But we do have limited seats. So because there's limited seats, I say hurry up and get locked in. Black motherhood. Whether you say mommy, whether you say mom, whether you say umi, whether you say iya, whether you say mama, whatever it is, to be a Black mother is one of the most dynamic gifts on the planet. To be a Black woman is one of the most dynamic gifts on the planet. But to remember that being a Black mother, you are the first womb of the planet. And I am a firm component of balance. Don't get up in our heads with the arrogance of being the first mamas and the first wombs. Our brothers were the first fathers. Their sperm was the first sperm. All right? So we're going to make sure that we give all of that balance. I am Healer Auset Miriam, Mama Auset, Dr. Auset, Sis, whatever you want to call me. Iya, Mama, I go by all of them. I answer to all of them because I am every single Black woman on this planet. I am every single Black mother, Black womb, all of the things. Come get this work, y'all. Y'all know first season I was all about we gonna get this work. Well, this season it's about executing the work. You're gonna see all of that information every single show because we gonna get this work. You're gonna stop talking about it. Don't just be watching this channel. Don't just be listening. What you doing? What you doing to get the healing work? And that's what we all about. Part 2 is about to come up. I'm gonna have my baby Saya's gonna join me on the topic of Black motherhood. He gonna share his story with how crazy I could be. I'm not crazy. And all of the things. I love y'all. I love y'all. Stay tuned for part 2. And you are on our network, not just for the people. We are the people. Make sure that you like, share, follow, and do it 2 more times and tell FOMO people. All right. Love you. Hey y'all, it's Healer Auset. I am here with holistic soul healing, holistic community healing, holistic education healing, holistic just come get your mind right healing. I'm gonna see you every single week right here on our network. Not just for the people, we are the people.